What you're about to witness is one of the most beautiful and unexpected moments of generosity ever captured in Judge Caprio's courtroom. A struggling single mother, a priest with an incredible heart, and a $1,000 gift that leaves everyone in tears. But before we dive into this story that will restore your faith in humanity, let me ask you something. Where are you watching us from? United States? Philippines? Poland? Ireland? Mexico? Drop it in the comments, because I love knowing this global community is growing every single day. And if you're new here, smash that subscribe button, because we bring you the most heartwarming Judge Caprio moments that prove kindness still exists in this world. Trust me, what happens in this courtroom will leave you sobbing happy tears. It's a Wednesday morning in Providence, Rhode Island. The courtroom has the usual energy, people waiting for their cases, some nervous, some resigned to their fate. Cases have been moving along steadily, nothing out of the ordinary. But sometimes the most extraordinary moments come from the most ordinary circumstances. And today is one of those days that nobody in this courtroom will ever forget. The bailiff calls the next case. Maria Santos. Multiple parking violations. Expired meter violations downtown. Total fines of $320. Through the courtroom doors walks a young woman in her late 20s. She's wearing scrubs, the kind nurses or medical assistants wear, with visible stains suggesting she came straight from work. Her hair is pulled back in a messy ponytail. Dark circles under her eyes tell the story of someone who isn't sleeping enough. She's carrying a worn backpack over one shoulder, and she looks like she's carrying the weight of the world. She approaches the podium slowly, nervously. You can see her hands shaking as she sets down a folder with her paperwork. She keeps her eyes down, clearly intimidated by the formal courtroom setting. Judge Caprio looks up from his papers with his characteristic warm expression, immediately sensing this is someone who's struggling. Good morning, Miss Santos. I see you're here about several parking violations. Before we begin, are you okay? You look like you've had a long day. Maria looks up, surprised by the kind tone. Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I just came from my shift. I work at Rhode Island Hospital as a nursing assistant. I couldn't get time off, so I came straight here. Her voice is soft, apologetic, with a slight accent suggesting English might be her second language. If you're already feeling for this woman, hit that like button, because her story is going to break your heart before it heals it. Stay with us. Judge Caprio nods understandingly. That's perfectly fine, Miss Santos. We appreciate you making the time to be here. Now, let's look at what we have. I see 5 parking violations over the past 4 months, all expired meters in the downtown area near the hospital. Can you tell me what happened? Maria takes a deep breath, and you can see her fighting back tears. Your Honor, I know I should have fed the meters. I know it's my responsibility, but I'm a single mother with 2 children, 6 and 8 years old. I work the night shift at the hospital, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. When I get off work, I have exactly 45 minutes to get home, wake up my kids, get them dressed, make their breakfast, and get them to school by 8:15. She pauses, her voice breaking. The meters downtown require payment starting at 8 a.m., but I'm in such a rush in the mornings trying to get my kids to school on time that I don't always have time to run back to my car and feed the meter before it expires. Sometimes I literally have 3 minutes between dropping them off and the meter enforcement starting. I've tried everything, parking further away and walking, but that takes even more time I don't have. I've tried different routes, different schedules. Nothing works. And I can't afford the monthly parking garage because it's $200 a month and I barely make enough to cover rent and groceries. The courtroom is absolutely silent. Everyone is listening to this young woman's struggle. You can feel the empathy in the room. Judge Caprio leans forward, his expression deeply compassionate. Miss Santos, you're working night shifts and taking care of two young children by yourself? How are you managing? Maria wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. Barely, Your Honor. Honestly, barely. My ex-husband doesn't pay child support. He left when my youngest was 2. It's just me. I work 40 hours a week at the hospital. Sometimes pick up extra shifts when I can. My mother helps with the kids when she can, but she's elderly and not in good health. Some mornings I'm so tired I don't know how I'm still standing. But I have to keep going because my babies depend on me. Drop a comment right now if you know someone who's struggling like Maria. Tell me what country you're watching from because single parents like her exist everywhere and they're all heroes. She continues, and now the tears are flowing freely. These fines, Your Honor, they're $320. That's more than my weekly paycheck after taxes. I don't know how I'm going to pay this. I've been trying to save up, but every time I get a little bit ahead, something happens. My son needed new shoes because his feet grew. My daughter got sick and needed medicine. The car needed repairs because it's old and keeps breaking down. She's sobbing now. I'm not trying to make excuses. I know I broke the law. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm drowning. Judge Caprio removes his glasses and you can see his eyes are glistening. Miss Santos, let me ask you something. When you're at work, what do you do exactly? What's your job? Maria sniffles, trying to compose herself. I'm a nursing assistant. I help patients who can't help themselves. Bathing, feeding, moving them, monitoring vitals. A lot of our patients are elderly or very sick. I try to make them comfortable, hold their hands when they're scared, talk to them so they don't feel alone. It's hard work, but I love it. I love helping people. Judge Caprio nods slowly. So you spend your nights taking care of other people, then you rush home to take care of your own children. You're working yourself to exhaustion, helping others. And now you're standing in my courtroom crying because you can't afford parking tickets you got while trying to get your kids to school on time? Does that about sum it up? Yes, Your Honor. Maria whispers. This is where something unexpected happens. In the gallery, sitting quietly in the third row, is Father Michael O'Brien. He's an elderly Catholic priest, probably in his 70s, wearing his traditional black clergy shirt with the white collar. He's been sitting there the entire morning waiting for his own case, a simple dispute about a church event permit. But he's been listening to Maria's story, and you can see the emotion on his weathered face. Tears are streaming down his cheeks. Share this video right now, because what's about to happen will restore your faith in humanity. This moment is pure magic. Father O'Brien suddenly stands up. The movement catches everyone's attention. Excuse me, Your Honor, may I speak? Judge Caprio looks surprised but nods. Of course, Father. Please, come forward. The elderly priest makes his way to the front of the courtroom, moving slowly with a slight limp. He stands next to Maria at the podium. Your Honor, I've been sitting here, listening to this young woman's story. I'm Father Michael O'Brien from St. Anthony's Parish. I've been a priest for 47 years, and in all that time, I've learned to recognize angels when I see them. He turns to Maria. This woman is an angel. She works all night, caring for the sick. She rushes home to care for her children. She does this every single day without complaint. And we're punishing her for trying to get her kids to school on time. He reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out his wallet. Your Honor, with your permission, I'd like to pay Miss Santos's fines. All of them. He pulls out a stack of bills, counting them carefully with his aged hands. I have $600 here. It's money I've been saving for a new hearing aid because mine is broken and I can barely hear my parishioners anymore. But I can wait. This woman cannot wait. Her children cannot wait. The courtroom absolutely erupts. People are gasping, crying, applauding. Maria looks at the priest in complete shock, her hand over her mouth. Father, no, she manages to say, through her tears. No, I can't let you do that. You need that for your hearing aid. I'll figure something out. Father O'Brien smiles gently, tears running down his own face now. My dear child, I've been deaf in one ear for 3 years. I can be deaf a little longer, but you need to take care of those babies. You need to keep working. You need to not worry about these fines. He turns to Judge Caprio. Your Honor, she needs $320 for the fines. Correct. Take it, and please, give her the rest. $300 for parking fees, for groceries, for whatever she needs. Hit that subscribe button if this moment is destroying you emotionally, because it gets even more beautiful. Tell me in the comments if you believe in angels walking among us. Judge Caprio is openly crying now, not even trying to hide it. The clerk is sobbing. The bailiff is wiping his eyes. The prosecutor has her face in her hands. Even people in the gallery who don't know Maria or Father O'Brien are crying at this display of pure, selfless compassion. Your Honor, Maria is saying, through her tears, I can't accept this. This is too much. It's too generous. Father O'Brien takes her hand gently. Miss Santos, do you believe in God? Maria nods. Yes, Father. I do. Then you know that God puts people in our path for a reason. I'm supposed to be here today. I'm supposed to help you. This is not charity. This is what we're called to do for each other. Jesus said, whatever you do for the least of these, you do for me. You spend your nights caring for the least of these in that hospital. You're doing God's work. Let me do mine. Judge Caprio composes himself enough to speak. Father O'Brien, that is one of the most beautiful acts of kindness I have ever witnessed in 30 years on this bench. He turns to Maria. Miss Santos, I'm dismissing all of your fines. Completely. You don't owe anything. Father O'Brien's $600 is yours to keep. Use it for your children, for yourself, for whatever you need. But Judge Caprio isn't finished. He addresses the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just witnessed something extraordinary. A priest giving up his own medical needs to help a struggling mother, a woman working herself to exhaustion to care for the sick and her own children. This is humanity at its absolute finest, and I'm challenging everyone here to follow Father O'Brien's example. During the brief recess that follows, something incredible happens. People from the gallery start approaching the clerk's desk. A businessman in a suit pulls out $200 for Miss Santos. My mother was a single parent. Someone helped us once. An elderly woman writes a check for $100. This is my Social Security money for the month, but I can stretch it. She needs it more. A young couple empties their wallets of $75. We were going to have a nice dinner tonight. This is more important. Within 15 minutes, over $1,500 is collected. When Judge Caprio announces the total, Maria completely breaks down. She's sobbing so hard she can barely stand. Father O'Brien has his arm around her shoulders, crying with her. The entire courtroom is standing, applauding, many people openly weeping at this outpouring of compassion. Your Honor, Maria finally manages to speak. I don't understand. Why is everyone being so kind to me? I'm nobody special. I'm just trying to survive. Judge Caprio's voice is thick with emotion. You're not nobody, Miss Santos. You're a mother who works all night to provide for her children. You're a healthcare worker who brings comfort to the sick and dying. You're someone who, despite being exhausted and struggling, you show up every single day and do what needs to be done. That's not nobody. That's a hero. Comment below from whatever country you're watching and tell me if this story touched your heart. Tell me about a time when someone showed you unexpected kindness. Let's fill these comments with gratitude and compassion. 1 week after this courtroom appearance, Maria writes letters to both Judge Caprio and Father O'Brien. Your Honor, Father O'Brien, I still can't believe what happened that day. The money you and those strangers gave me, it changed everything. I paid my rent that was 2 months overdue. I bought my kids new clothes and school supplies they desperately needed. I got my car properly repaired, so it's reliable now. I even put some in savings for emergencies. But more than the money, you gave me hope. You reminded me that I'm not alone in this world, that there are good people who care about others. I cry every time I think about it. My children pray for you both every night. They call Father O'Brien the angel grandpa. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for helping me. I will never forget this as long as I live. Father O'Brien later tells Judge Caprio that his parishioners, after hearing about what he did, collected money and bought him a new hearing aid. The one he got was even better than the one he'd been saving for. God provides, the priest says with a smile. I gave away $600 and got back something more valuable. I got to be part of a miracle. Before we end this beautiful story, I want you to understand something important. Maria Santos represents thousands, maybe millions, of people who are working multiple jobs, struggling to survive, one unexpected expense away from disaster, single parents doing everything right and still barely making it, healthcare workers caring for others while barely able to care for themselves. They're invisible to most of us until something like this happens and we're reminded that they exist, that they matter, that they need help. And Father O'Brien represents the best of humanity. Someone who saw a need and responded immediately, without hesitation, without expecting anything in return. He gave up something he needed to help someone who needed it more. That's the kind of selflessness that changes the world, one person at a time. This is what Judge Caprio's courtroom teaches us over and over again, that behind every case is a human story, that compassion costs nothing but means everything, that one act of kindness can inspire dozens more. Father O'Brien's $600 gift sparked $1,500 more from strangers. His compassion created a wave of compassion. That's how we change the world. Not with grand gestures or huge donations, but with simple acts of seeing someone who's struggling and deciding to help. Thank you for watching this beautiful story. Thank you for being part of a community that believes in kindness, in compassion, in the power of helping others. Please share this video with everyone you know because Maria's story and Father O'Brien's generosity deserve to be celebrated. And remember, You don't have to be rich to help someone. You just have to see them, really see them, and decide that their struggle matters to you. That's what Father O'Brien did. That's what those strangers in the courtroom did. And that's what we should all aspire to do. See people